for being here, and I apologize for being remote.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Kevin. But we'll go through, have a call to order, but a special welcome to Tara. So I'll start. I'm Dee Forte, co-chair, and Zoom. Celeste, if you could.
Sure, Celeste Briggs Brady.
Steve Buzzle.
Tara Ricks.
Michael Griffin.
Sue Polidora. Stephanie Secord, Public Information Officer for the city and note taker. Anybody else online?
Oh, thank you all. So we are a committee of 9 now. We had 2 new members get approved on Monday night's city council meeting, but it was probably a little short notice for them to be able to get here. But we'll hopefully see them at next meeting. It's Amy Dutton and Jennifer Miriam. And Tara, thank you for being here. Is it Tara or Tara?
Tara.
Tara, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm not there to meet you in person, but we're thrilled that you've joined. So, okay, next item is to approve the December 4th minutes. So there's 6 of you there, so we do have a quorum to be able to approve that. So have people gotten a chance to look at them?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent, thank you. Next item is potential projects for 2026. I'm gonna table that for a few minutes and discuss that with the number 5 listed to-dos. So Stephanie, I don't know if you can
Yes, so
throw it to you. I'm sorry to do that, but to talk about the city website.
right. So I will share my screen here. I'll try to share the screen. Too many buttons, sorry. Okay, so Dee, can you see that?
I can, thank you.
So we've got the landing page for all of the historic cemeteries, and we now have a page for each of the ones in the committee's jurisdiction. Thank you, Steve, for all those great photographs. So for example, we have Cotton, and I'll show you Cotton in particular, because first of all, we've got all these great before and after photographs, but another item on the 3rd bullet point on the agenda is to create the blue historical markers that we have around town for a variety of other historic sites. And the committee would like to see signs for Hall and Cotton as we have for North Cemetery, Point of Graves. Point of Graves actually has 2. But there's not a lot of information short of listing who's buried there. And with the other resources like the library's database, I'm not sure what kind of purpose that serves. The thought I had, which I'll address to you, Michael, is that for a city historical marker, it might make sense, depending on the committee's thought, to do one marker for the whole area and explain the difference between the city-maintained cemeteries and the privately maintained ones.
That's well thought out, and I think that's vitally important.
Good. Rest of the committee think so? Obviously, I'll work up a draft that you'll all look at. So, because that gives us so much more to talk about.
Excuse me, did you get a draft of showing like a proposed thing?
Not that I recall. I have a map that shows the different sections and some of the roadways in there, but I think what we need to focus on in this kind of a shared effort, because we've been talking about it among the trustees and John Shagnon who's pretty much the point man for the proprietor section, it would be extremely helpful to have something to identify the different cemeteries and focus on the key people and where they are.
And you've done so much research, for example, on the Revolutionary burials, just recently with the Wreaths effort, the Wreaths Across America.
Yes, yes.
That was what you were doing it for. And
I'm not the point person for the North Cemetery, that's rich with individuals that fit that criteria. In the South Cemetery, again, we're focusing on Revolutionary War veterans and the Congressional Medal of Honor winners. So I think in the South Cemetery, we placed 9 wreaths. And I have the biographies of each individual and what their contributions were. Some of them quite interesting.
so if you would be so kind as to share that with me, I can use that in the sign, and the map, I think would be helpful, because I'm realizing, thinking about it, that although we, as the committee, as the city, don't have jurisdiction, the location where we have the Memorial Day service is in the private side of the cemetery.
Correct.
And just explaining all of that would be, I think, very useful.
I'd be happy to work on it with you. Yeah.
Terrific. Thanks, Mike.
I think that's a great idea to do all of them.
The number one location in there are the murdered victims at Mighty Knows.
Right, of course.
Can you scroll down?
So they have to be
I was,
identified.
That would be cool in there.
So let me, I'll go back to Cotton, as you just
I
asked.
found 3 more. at the
So
North Cemetery.
we have a
3 more
gallery
banners.
of
Three more what?
images.
Of the Revolutionary.
Did you really?
3 more.
Is there,
There's snow out there.
like a,
That was before.
you know how we have the small animated maps, of showing where each cemetery is on their corresponding page?
That's a good idea.
Cause I know there's a main one,
Yes.
that has like it highlighted in different colors, but if we
Yep.
had one
Yeah,
on
that's
each,
a
be
good
like,
idea.
this is Cotton, this is, Hall.
Definitely put that in.
That's a great idea.
And then, so Hall is the other one I'll do a marker for. I basically have that photograph. I don't, because I know you took pictures of after and some of the work that you did, but I seem to only have the Cotton and North Cemetery work, so.
Okay, I'll send you the whole stuff.
And as you look at these pages, I may have misidentified them. But again, I need some more information
Okay.
to make a whole sign out of Hall Cemetery.
Now, is that the city that makes those signs?
Yes,
So if that's a side of the agenda, is that the kind of sign that gets approved for Von Steuben? The city would be making it?
yes. In fact, I was going to ask you about that, because there's that blue format that was the featured photograph in the Seacoast Online story, and then there are various other state versions, like the one at the corner of the cemeteries on
Yeah.
South Street,
On that,
because
on
they're
that-
state historical
yeah,
markers.
on that committee, we've been discussing the different formats, and people seem to be liking the one that is like the one at the North Cemetery.
Okay, that's a state sign.
But no, the one that has all the pictures.
Oh,
and-
yeah, you said
That-
north,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
So-
but-
Yeah, that one's a little bit bigger than, is that some other locations throughout town?
A standard size and the
Correct.
north.
It's that
ones.
idea.
But yes, the blue ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, again, there you have all of,
Yeah, we can gather the information on the South Street cemeteries and maybe it will end up being a big, bigger sign, but,
If you want to highlight the key people that are in there.
yeah,
and then we have Point of Graves has 2, these are the blue markers.
Yeah.
So it continues to be a work in process, but yes, I love the idea of the map, which leads me to, let me see, I need to stop sharing this and go to the draft of the rec card, which has the map we're talking about. Okay. Dee, can you see that?
Not yet, but it's probably traveling south. Here it comes, yeah.
All right, yep. Okay. Now, do you have the rack card?
Which is great. We're just gonna update this for 2026.
Yes. We've done some work on it since you and I met, so the front hasn't changed very much except for changing the font, because our director of communications has been trying to get everything consistent. The list of the cemeteries is now more easily read. The QR code does work. I think the last time we looked at it, it had been broken. So it works now, but here's that map with the locations.
There's a different one on the city website, isn't there, where it's kind of color coded?
So yes, because these are only the historic cemeteries in our purview. The one on the website, which I think is that link, is color coded for the ones that are private historic cemeteries, and may also include like Calvary Cemetery and the Temple Israel Cemetery, the public active burial places. But so yeah, I'll work with Jamie McCarty, and who's our GIS specialist, and put the interactive map, because then you can, instead of just this moment in time postage stamp, you can figure out where you are on your phone or your laptop or whatever, and locate yourself with the interactive map. Yes.
Is it possible to take the image of that map and shift it up so that you can see the 2 points on the lower part?
Yes, I'm noticing that myself, because I was trying to catch it's a big range. And I'd like to get more of the streets, but yes, we're cutting off the bottom of that, so you can't even read what the name of it is.
That'd be good.
So we're heading in that direction. Did the committee discuss, Dee, how many of these do you think you want to print?
I don't know how many.
I think we did 1,000 the last time, because we distribute them at the Chamber Visitor Center and the kiosk, and then at the library, here at City Hall, Senior Center, the resident areas, Senior Center and Connie Bean, and the library. The library has great distribution for things like this.
Strawberry.
Right.
Yes.
We could, yeah, I can, as having spent 10 years of my career there, I can whisper in somebody's ear and get them.
Yeah, I could ask them too.
Yeah, as a resident.
Yeah, as a resident. Did we also put some at the Discover Center? Or,
Yeah, probably,
Yes.
yes.
yeah, okay. So I would say just go with what we
Okay.
had for the number of copies.
Because Southport Printing offers the city a 15% discount, as they do for all nonprofits. So we can get more at any time.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
So
Good work.
that's my section.
That's awesome.
Yes. Excellent.
I'm gonna lean on you again for the next section, sorry, Stephanie. But if you could bring up that cemetery list of to-dos.
Does everyone have a copy?
Oh, does everyone have a copy?
Yes.
Okay,
Shall we work from paper, or do you want to work on the screen?
yeah, if everybody has a copy, we can just go through it ourselves. And I don't wanna go through these in a deep dive into all of these, but I finally found this list, and it was made in October of 2024, so a year and a half ago. And it's good to see that a lot of the stuff is done, and I really kind of need Corin here to give a status like on a lot of the stuff, but a lot of the work at Hall has been done. The wire fencing at North has been taken down. I'm not sure about the seawalls at North and Union. So I've turned this into like an Excel spreadsheet where I'm adding a column for status and any kind of comment. You know, for instance, we did paint the railings at North and Union, but we're going to give them another coat this year. So just to have this as kind of a living document, and with the work we're doing, and add any other projects that we want to do. So.
And I can tell you that the seawall project was completed through DPW, because they did a New Hampshire DES permit because of the nearness to the water and all that. So that project was done last summer, I think, but I'll send you the dates and the link.
That'd be great. So at both North and Union?
I believe so.
Okay, so yeah, it's good to see stuff get done. And thank you, DPW, for everything you do.
Should we add, sorry, Dee, should we add that the signs that we're talking about onto this list? If this is gonna be a master list?
It's on there for Cotton and Hall.
Sorry.
The signs, I think it's the last item in each of those cemeteries.
Yep.
And so we can put in progress next to that, those two. But, you know, so I tabled the number 3, the potential projects for 2026. You know, we have this list, and maybe after I meet with Corin at like our next meeting, we can have a more in-depth discussion on what we want to talk about.
He asked me to report that Point of Graves is in process, but he'll have a more detailed report next time.
Okay, great. Great. And actually, that isn't even on the list. I added it on, you know, the list I'm recreating for the Point of Graves wall. You know, because at this time in October 24, the damage wasn't that bad. I think it was last winter where something happened.
Somebody ran into it.
Yeah, something rammed into it, and because of that damage, they've had to put up like a safety, like Jersey barriers and everything, and it doesn't look so great. So, so that's what we're talking about, Tara and Briggs. Is this Point of Graves wall? We've been talking about it, you know, ever since that further damage was done last winter.
We had, as Michael mentioned, John Shagnon, are you still there? You had your hand up and now I've lost you.
I've seen him pop on and off a couple times.
Might be, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that for the sake of recording, you might want to bring that list to the screen.
Yes, so are you seeing it now? Dee, are you seeing the list?
If you double click on that Adobe, it should come up.
Well, it's on our screen here.
Yeah, we see the list of your directory.
Okay, let me try it again.
Yeah, when you go to share, you have to be in the place. It doesn't automatically move to new places when you share.
Yeah, so can you see it now?
We're still
No, it's still the directory, so you need to go to the PDF, have the PDF up on your screen, and then hit share.
Okay.
In the upper right there, upper right, see it says black share. I don't know if that's,
Yeah, go ahead.
Give it a try, perhaps.
that's
the
it.
list of projects, right?
Yeah, okay. Right, I kept going back to the directory.
Can I see it now?
Here we go.
Stephen?
Thanks.
Here you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so maybe if you just scroll down, it will be on the recording, just to, yeah. Thank you.
If you close out of all tools, you'll be able to see a little bit more too.
So good. We have a working document, which is good.
Stephanie, I think the Whidden Cemetery at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, that's the one off Peverly Road. So what's not on here is the one off Lafayette.
Same family name?
Is that the Langdon Farm?
Yes.
Is that the one that is behind that new development by DPW?
Is that the Peverly?
I'm not aware of anything off Beverly Hill.
Yeah,
The one you mentioned on Lafayette, that's in the back is a family cemetery. The one, the Langdons, that's a family cemetery. I don't know if you have, that's a private one. And then there's another cemetery by Starbucks. Is that one of the ones here?
I think that's Whidden as well.
that's a Whidden. There's like 3 Whiddens.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wow.
One of the heirs has told me that the DPW, the DOT has told them that that's going to be moved someday. Anybody ever heard that?
No.
As they're widening Lafayette.
Yeah. Long range, they've sort of reached out and told the family that, I mean, I don't know this. I'm sure there's a process to move
Yeah.
cemeteries
that takes a while.
I know, Dee, when you and I were talking to Jamie, looking at the map, he was mentioning the Starbucks location. But, so, Mike, the
It's
one,
one on the corner of Lafayette and Constitution.
Which is by the Starbucks. I just pulled
That's
it
the
up
side,
on
and then
maps.
across the street is the Whidden family plot.
On the other side.
Okay.
in the Peverly Hill,
I'm not aware of any cemeteries on Beverly Hill Road.
Maybe they were just thinking
Yeah, I think so.
it was a connecting, I don't know.
well,
I don't know.
like, ask Jamie about that,
Okay, yeah.
in case there's,
Is there one from on the Het Farm that is in conservation ownership by the city now? I don't know if that's what they're talking about.
If there is, I'm not aware of it.
Which part?
The Het Farm.
Yeah, I can show you a map someday, Michael, that shows it.
There is another one down in the woods behind the Het property. Where the painting company put in those 65 houses. There's a little cemetery down in the woods, but I think it's just a family cemetery.
when you say the Het Farm, is that the so-called 100-acre woods that the city just required?
Oh, no, that's Cavaretta.
I thought it was a different name, okay.
The Het Farm is
Farm.
same type of acquisition, but 30 years ago, maybe.
Can you spell that? Is it Heck or?
H-E.
HETT.
Thank you. Well, maybe something Jamie can help us look into. Well, great. Okay. Why don't we go to the next item? We're just gonna, I guess it's always on here, Steve, is just headstone work.
Yeah.
What's going on? What can we help you with?
They didn't dig out the headstones.
Yeah, dig out the snow. Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Good. Sounds good. Okay, and number 7, Langdon Marker, just, you know, we had approved at the last meeting, to, you know, for the DAR to be able to install a plaque on Woodbury Langdon's tomb, in North Cemetery. So that has kind of kicked off, and I'm working with Maria Caroline, something Langdon, on trying to come up with a date for a ceremony to celebrate the unveiling. So more to come on that in the spring.
Okay.
And the 8th item, Serve with Liberty, they did approve our projects for May 8th and May 15th. So we had the projects down as repainting the railings at North and Union. And if weather doesn't permit doing that, we'll find something else to do, like headstone cleaning or that sort of thing. So that's for May 8th and May 15th. And we do need to get that in front of the city council, and I'm not sure what the process is for that, Stephanie, just to, I guess, I don't know what section it comes in their meeting, but they have to be aware of it and just say, yeah, go ahead, or, you know, that kind of thing.
Forget if that's one of the ones that Liberty Mutual sends us a letter, or this committee provides a letter. I'll check with Suzanne and
Okay,
compare it.
okay, because I can provide you with the email where they approved it and that kind of thing.
Do we have the times for the May 8th and 15th yet?
Yes, 9 to 12.
Okay.
For both May 8th and May 15th. So, you know, again, the project is to paint the railings, but we're going to have 12 people on each of those mornings. And if we come up with something else we want them to work on, they'll certainly do that. You know, like headstone cleaning or straightening. There's probably too much of a learning curve there to be able to do it in 3 hours, but just something to, you know, keep in mind if you see things that need to be worked on in North and Union. We have a team to help us out.
Thank you.
Great. So the next item is every year we like either re-elect or appoint a new chair, co-chair. And so this item is to do that. I know I've said it in the past, but I would love to have a co-chair. You know, just somebody to help collaborate on what the agenda should be. You know, other projects they may want to go off and work on, for example, you know, researching Cotton and Hall, and, you know, who are the historic figures that we want to, you know, have on those blue signs that are going to be in those cemeteries. So I would love to have a co-chair. I still would like to be co-chair. So I guess this is open discussion. What do you guys think? Anybody interested in being co-chair? Anybody want me to step down? That's the kind of thing, but.
I nominate Dee for co-chair.
Second.
All in favor? I guess.
Aye. We need another co-chair.
Think about it. I think we do really need another co-chair just for, you know, times like this. I'm going to be remote for February, March, and April meetings, and feel bad about that. But all right. So keep in mind, anybody that wants to be co-chair with me, I'm totally open to anybody.
Zero experience in co-chairing, and nor do I feel like I'm not doing that, but I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Like if there's anything that you need, you want me to work on a spreadsheet or put this data into some sort of spreadsheet that you can present, I'm happy to like help with anything like that. And be a sounding board, but in no way, shape, or form am I wanting to talk more than that right now.
Still the electing another co-chair until
We've
next
got 2 new
meeting,
people joining too.
so
True.
the opportunity of having everybody in the room.
True, yeah, true, very good point,
So
very good point.
Dee, did Sue Pelladero surrender all her information to you?
Sue Sterry, you mean?
Sue Sperry, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Sue Spare.
I've asked for a couple things, yeah, and she can't locate them, so that's fine. Okay, we do have one other topic, and I don't know if you have it, Stephanie, a member of I'm gonna mess it up, a family of a Revolutionary War figure. Sue would probably know his name too. Leaf, what was it that we were contacted by an ancestor, and there's a headstone in North Cemetery that part of it is cut off at the top. Let me get it.
I'm looking it up in my email.
I apologize. Because Steve, you might know if any work has been done on it.
That's, we need to get that database up and running, what we were talking about, so,
I agree.
which would help. Because Sue sent me a picture of one that was down, that would be nice to put in
Oh,
there.
she did send it to you. Yeah.
What is the database?
We can talk after this, it's,
So the name is Thomas Ayers Neal,
Yeah.
1763 to 1819. Revolutionary War veteran and lifelong resident of Portsmouth. And the question has come in from Sally Neal. And she came across, she had sent us a picture, which is not showing up on my phone.
Yeah, it's actually a link to Find a Graves, to the Find a Graves site that has the picture of the headstone that's
Here you go.
part of it's missing.
Unfortunately, I'll pass her on my phone because I don't have it to put up on the screen. But
Correct. Well, it's on the Find a Graves website, so we don't even know if that's the way it looks today. And we can't find out today because it's under snow. So,
what is the
but
name
I didn't
again?
know if it jogged your memory at all, Steve, as something that you might have worked on. If not, we'll get back to
Neal?
Sally.
Neal.
Neal?
E.
north. No, I didn't do any work in north, epoxying any back together in north. But
Okay,
you can go when the snow melts and look around for the heads,
that's what we'll tell her. Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
that's what we'll tell her.
4.
Yeah.
Those the Revolutionary soldiers.
Outline on that piece.
Hey,
If it isn't laying on that piece is not laying on the ground, it's like,
Could be right on this.
I was wondering if it could be buried because Steve keeps
Well,
finding
that's
things
slate,
that
so
are.
that-
it could be,
So is that
depending on how
disintegrated?
long
No,
ago
it's slate
it
will
was
still
broken.
hold up.
Oh, so it's in there then.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, yeah.
that should be locatable unless it was stolen. But I doubt it was stolen.
yeah.
Yeah, that headstone that I happened to notice when I was there, I think it was in December, when there was no snow.
Yeah.
In there, it just seems that it was toppled over, but I think something, maybe the ground froze and somehow squeezed in the headstone and it just went.
Yeah, there's a
over.
layout in there.
Because it looked like where it was sitting in, like someone like popped it out and laid it
Yeah,
over, is what it
it's
looked
almost
like.
like
Can't
the-
tell you
the
exactly where it is.
frozen ground just kind
Because
of
of its
popped it up.
configuration, it wouldn't be hard to find.
But that one is pretty meaningful. That's it's the wife of the captain of the ship where, Ona Judge came in, so,
Misunderstood.
yeah.
All right, so we'll get back to Sally and just say, you know, there's nothing that we can do right now. We'll look for the missing piece in the spring. Hopefully we find it. If we find it, that we can try to fix it. But if it's something that needs to be restored, like a new section, you know, created and that sort of thing, that's kind of up to the family to fundraise for.
Did she say if she had pictures of it as a whole, or someone in the family might have a picture of it?
I haven't had that level of discussion with her yet. And what she sent was a link that was on Find a Grave. So I don't even know if she's actually seen it in person. Or has pictures, but it's a worthwhile project, I guess, for us to follow up on and help them restore it. You know, so.
The broken one is in North, so.
Did you get your cell phone back?
Yes.
Okay, any other business?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Monday or Tuesday before our meetings, we can have the Zoom link and the confirmation of the meeting happening, the agenda and the meeting minutes like we used to get sent out every week, or every Monday or Tuesday before a meeting, so it's not like, you know, today we're getting it the last minute, yes, we are having a meeting,
That's
or just not getting the email.
the transition from Barbara to me. It dropped some of the operational detail, and I will totally fall on my sword on this one, because Dee and I went through the agenda and approved it, and I posted it all of the places to the public, and it never got sent. I never remembered to send it to all of you, so I apologize profusely on that. Yes, you will have it in advance.
Can we also get the meeting minutes
Yes,
to
the
review
whole thing,
in our
because
email?
the
Okay.
meeting minutes should typically be part of whatever the packet is. So if we've got other things, like the list of the to-dos and things like that, but yes, absolutely. My apologies.
So-
You-
What is it called, those records at the library? Where is it under? They're under like
Special collection?
special collections.
I think Katie, is Katie still there yet? She can help you with that.
Yeah, the link is on our historic cemeteries page, but
It's that room that's kind of like between the bathrooms and the computers upstairs.
I'm just looking for the,
special
Yeah,
collections.
it's climate controlled. It's a climate controlled section because there's sensitive documents in there, so. But really great stuff that's in there, so. There's a, you know, whole couple shelves on cemeteries, so.
She said there was a link on the cemeteries, so on the board's page.
All right, any other business?
Stephanie, do you have any interest in transcribing these meetings, having the software transcribe these meetings, and then loading it into software to create an outline that you can read and then edit for the minutes?
It actually, the Zoom translating any city meetings, Zoom is very challenged. And I found that in taking the transcript, because there have been meetings that I haven't been able to be at, and it takes twice as long to edit the transcription as watching the Zoom or being here in person. So, I mean, like this meeting would be very easy to do that because it's self-contained and it's not a long meeting. But we tend to go back through the minutes to advance an agenda for the next meeting. So, point's well taken. It's just 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, good idea.
Doesn't know what the word Portsmouth is.
Well, you can
Depending on
take-
who's speaking it.
You can take that transcript and feed it into something like
I couldn't figure it out.
Microsoft Copilot, and you can tell Copilot,
This is
You can
the
take that
report.
transcript, and if there's things in it, you can say, if this word or something like this word is in there, it's the city of Portsmouth, substitute that word. You can take kind of that next step and tell it exactly what you want.
But it'll just mistranslate the stuff
Yeah.
like pretty terribly. I don't know if you've ever watched it live as you have a meeting, but if you have people in
Like subtitles.
several different locations, it's
Yeah.
rough.
Microsoft, we have a lot better, like, we don't run into that. Zoom, I haven't worked with.
Right, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Microsoft is probably, because I've seen Microsoft Teams translations and they're right on, so. But maybe Zoom doesn't have that.
Yeah,
capability, but
because
it's
the city
really
itself uses
something to look
Teams,
into.
but our public facing is still Zoom because people got used to it during COVID.
Right. Right.
Here's Neil.
Okay, anything else?
There's a Thomas Neal. No, so the Thomas Neal.
1763 to 1819 was the date.
Yeah, and Find a Graves, I think it has a
I think it's
Thomas might be a son.
Butterfingers.
But not buried in
I think it's the website for the library. I haven't had any success with the Find a Grave kind of thing.
You have to have an
Are
account
you
for that.
Yeah.
See, just check my date. Oh,
There's one there, but it says it's like 1810, so it's way after.
Well, it's a nice thing that we're able to do for these families is kind of work with them and,
geez, it's 1763, right?
Yep.
The date of birth.
that's right.
Are they sure about the cemetery?
Don't know. I think that's what Find a Grave is telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't in the city's website.
So we'll work on that.
Documents right there with, Find a Grave. Some, interesting people take the document that is pertaining them and download it, and I'm like, it's great. You don't have to go look for it, it's right there. But, I know I have walked by this, cause I remember the name, and I think there's a spouse buried next to it.
Yeah.
Well, the Athenaeum has a little bit on them. Said it's buried in North Cemetery alongside second wife Elizabeth. Is there an Elizabeth Neal?
Yes, that's Elizabeth Ayers Neal.
Are you in
She
Find a
should be-
Graves?
Mhm.
Okay.
She died March 3rd, 1839.
That's in North Cemetery, it says?
Yeah.
Because the Neal's in here, there's neither one of those.
Well, they're there. I remember. So I passed by several graves that the name remind me of somebody else, and I'm like, gee, I wonder what they did.
I'm intrigued
Yeah.
because Thomas died in February, and the way the world, the universe works was probably February 5th. You know? So we're thinking of you, Thomas,
We're thinking about the dude.
because that's the part that's broken off. It says February, but then not.
February 21.
Yeah. That's the Athenaeum site says. Well,
Anyways, I
Okay.
told you, can I tell a quick story? It doesn't have to be recorded, but I've been doing some research on the first election ever, the election where George Washington was elected president. So I found this book on eBay and I said, well, that looks interesting. It had a lot to do with what happened and how people voted. It was not a national election. It was elected by the Electoral College. So I'm looking at this book, a beautiful book. It was printed for the anniversary of it. I think it was printed in the 1980s, something like that. I can't remember. Or the 1990s, early. And I opened the book, and guess who autographed the book? Because it was a project from the Senate that authorized the making of this book, putting it together.
U.S. Senator
U.S. Senator.
from New Hampshire.
Joe
Sununu.
Biden. I opened it up and I'm like, Joe Biden autographed this book?
It's not that far back then.
And it's a beautiful book. The images in it are beautiful.
All right.
You did a good job on Jack's show the other day.
Oh, thank you.
Very good.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Think about it.
There's still a little bit of daylight left.
Thank you, everybody.
The